How's it going? All right, just wanted to make sure that we're live. All right, just this is going to happen every once in a while where I go live. I have a video coming out probably in about 2 hours, and it's already scheduled. I think it's coming out at 12. However, this will be your downfall. Obviously, I've talked about the year of yes. Okay, the year of yes means that you're actually doing things that you probably wouldn't want to do, you don't feel like doing, or you don't think it's necessary. You don't think it's necessary to go to bed on time, or you don't think it's necessary to put your phone down before you go to bed, or you don't think it's necessary to eat correctly because it's like smoking a cigarette. It's not going to kill you. You do one cigarette, it's not going to kill you. There's nothing wrong with one cigarette. If you do a pack, even if you do 10 packs, you're not going to die. But if you keep on doing a pack every single day, okay, it's the compounding effect. It's the same thing with your life. Is what are you doing every single day? What is the compounding effect that you're doing every single day that you don't think is that bad, but actually it is? It's the downfall. And one of them, I'm going to bring it up, just want to make sure, we're nice and tilted correctly, is consuming too much. Consuming way too much social media, too much TV, too much Netflix, too much YouTube, too many books. All right. I would say 2016, I was consuming way too many books. I had all the excuses and I said, listen, I don't need to do anything because I'm consuming these books. I need to learn before I do. I need to have all this knowledge and all this wisdom before I actually get going. Okay, that's a bunch of malarkey. Okay. So I know what's his name, Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about creating. He goes, document, don't create. In other words, you document your life. You document what you're doing instead of creating original content. Creating original content is expensive, it's hard, it's challenging. It's one of those things that you have to think into. Maybe you don't have the budget, maybe you don't have the time, whatever the case is. But essentially, what's up, Erwin? Essentially, what you need to do is just document your life. That's essentially what I'm doing. If you go to my Instagram page, that's all I'm doing. Most of the posts that I put up, they were captured during my vlog. I have someone now, I can afford someone now to actually follow me around twice a week. And essentially what they're doing is they're documenting my life, and then we piece it together, and that's our content. Okay. But along with those lines, what happened was I started seeing all these people creating all this value, and I got obsessed with it. I got obsessed to the point where I would start making excuses. I need to consume more Gary Vaynerchuk. I need to consume more Grant Cardone or Lewis Howes interviews or Impact Theory or Brian Tracy or Jack Canfield, any of these, Tony Robbins, any of these guys that are at the top of their game. So essentially what you're doing is you're putting your life on hold because someone else is actually doing what you should be doing. Let me say that again. You're putting your life on hold thinking that it's the right thing to do. And listen, the only reason I'm preaching right now, or the only reason I can say this, is because I caught myself in that loop. 2016, I was reading way too much and I was making way too many excuses for not doing. I was like, I need to read more about it before I start anything. I need to have all the scripts in order before I actually go out and make sales phone calls. I need to know exactly what I'm going to say before I approach that pretty girl. I need to know exactly what I'm putting into my body before I start. And then 2 years later, 2 years, okay? That's insane. 2 years. Facebook just reminded me of a photo that I posted 2 years ago. I shit you not. Life is going, when we consume and we post so much, and this was about 2 years ago. I heard that in 1 week, we would actually consume more stimuli in 1 week than our ancestors did their entire life. That was 2 years ago. That was pre the insanity of Facebook and video and YouTube and Instagram. Okay? So we're literally competing against things that our brains are not ready for. So guess what we get addicted to? Consuming. What I'm saying today is that this year, the year to yes, you put down more. I met with Erwin. The guy is awesome. He's watching right now. And one of the things is, I didn't even know what he looked like because there's no photos on your Instagram. My man, if you want to get out there, your personality is your personal reality. Your personal reality, okay? So if you want to be anything, if you're a programmer, awesome. I met with this guy. We placed him. He was from Google. He got transferred to New York City, and then he got poached by another company. The guy's making well into six figures. He's only 27 years old, but he's awkward as fuck. Okay, I'm not gonna hang out. That it was really awkward going around with him because he's a linear guy. The guy just says this equals this. This computes to this. There was no like outside of the box. So what he's doing is perfect because all he needs to do is look at a computer and he just puts an algorithm. But I guarantee you guys who's watching this and who's going to consume this later on are not like that. You want more. You want to either put your stuff out there, whether that's personally telling your story, actually putting out content originally, whether that's videos, whether that's written form, whether that's photography. I don't give a shit what it is. I really don't. This is all I'm saying is that there are way too many people consuming. You go onto the subway and everyone's just head down. Okay, I know Gary's talking about, and I vehemently disagree because I've read 2 books. Number one is it's like your brain on something, and then the other one is just addicted. It's like 2 different titles, and it was quick overviews of the books, but essentially the science in there is that email, Facebook, and social media, there's Sean, what's his name from Facebook, what's his name? You guys know that Sean Parker, the guy that founded Napster and then pretty much took Mark Zuckerberg to the VC investors in 2006, that essentially just blew up Facebook. And the book, The Facebook Effect by something Kirkpatrick, great book. They are literally designed. Think of the 4 ways, okay? We're just gonna go over really quick so we understand it, okay? So I'm not just like bullshitting, okay? We have to understand when we are addicted. I literally will open Instagram and I'll start scrolling through. And the reason that Instagram went from chronological to what you would most likely want to see first is to get you addicted. Because if it was chronological and there are people that you're following that you didn't want to follow, you would sign out of it. And if you sign out of it, then you're not consuming their ads. Okay, so here it is. The reason that people love Instagram, number one is every time you go on there, there's probably going to be a red bubble that pops up somewhere. Okay, and if you don't have a red bubble that pops up that says someone followed you, someone tagged you, or you have a new like, then at the top, the stories, someone is either live or there's a new story, whether it's me or someone else. Okay, so that is known as the random reward system. So you're randomly getting rewarded. Number one. Number two is you want to know where you fall on the social hierarchy of society. So in other words, back in the day, it was who's the senator, who's in government, who's the poet, who's the orator, who's the one that generates, big crowds. And I'm talking about Roman times. I'm not talking about like 150 years ago. I'm talking about Roman times, like Jesus's time. Like if you think of that guy's brain, that guy literally started a religion 2,000 years ago, and then we started to count up from the days he was born, supposedly born. That's insane. Like, if anything, you have to respect the guy that can go out when there was nothing. It's MLK Day. Martin Luther King Jr., there were no computers. As Simon Sinek said, it wasn't like, this is what I hope happens. He said, I dream. There was no computers that said, or invitations that went out and said, on this day I'm going to speak, yet 1 million people showed up. That's a movement. Okay, to create that movement, you want to know where you fall on the social hierarchy. How many followers do you have? How many photos are you getting tagged in? When you're tagged in those photos, are you surrounded by other people? And this isn't something that I want you to do. It's something that you have to understand social media wise. This is exactly what they're doing. This is what they're doing. Okay, so number one is random reward system. Every time you go on Facebook, they have bullshit things like, this person was tagged in a post, or this person liked the post. Who gives a shit? But Facebook knows that every time you go on there, they want to give you a notification. Same thing with Instagram. Okay, so and then number two is you want to know where you fall on the social hierarchy. Number three is every time you go on there, there's going to be something new. There's new content. So every time you go on there, you don't see the same thing. Facebook says, okay, you scroll through this. Let's move this out of the way. Let's put something else in there. It knows when you log in or off. Okay, so it's set up to give you a little drip of dopamine every single time. The reason I'm saying this is to unplug, it's gonna get me so emotional once I actually have like an audience of people like asking me questions about this, like and ask away. like say live, not only on video, but like live in an audience, is that someone's going to ask me a question, essentially saying, isn't it good? Isn't it good? Listen, the phone calls, it's a tool. It's a tool to use, not be used by you. The reason being is that if you want to unplug from the Matrix, listen, the Matrix is essentially, yes, the movie was pretty accurate in how plugged in people are. They're being told what to do. They're cyborgs. That's why and the only way to get out of it is education. That's the only way. You see people in the Middle East, they're in the fucking archaic days. They're in archaic days. And the reason that they don't want any of the young boys or young girls to get any education is because when you get education, you can get out. You can get out of the Matrix. You can understand there's a whole world outside of it. What does North Korea do? They keep their people, they control the media, they control the internet, they control everything. So they say, holy shit, this is as good as it is. This is it. There's a country that there was, I think, go to the YouTube channel called Real Life Lore. I think it's Real Life Lore. If it's not Real Life Lore, then look it up. And there's a country that no one is, it's off the coast of Italy, no one is allowed to go there because they feel that their world, which is an island, and it's only like 2 miles away from Italy, they feel their world is the world. That everything they had, anyone that ever came there, there were people that shipwrecked there. There were bows and arrows that went and they killed the people that accidentally got shipwrecked, and that was like 20, 30 years ago. These are people that are Aborigines, that they feel their world is their world. That's how we are. We feel that things are just the way they are, that nothing is going to improve, that I'm not going to get better, whether that's actually going to the gym and whatnot. I'm going to leave you with this, guys. This story is, I, growing up, thought that because I was not good at school, that I don't think it's Sardinia, but essentially, when I was growing up, I thought that the world was the way it was because that's how I was being told, okay? I was being told by family, society, school, friends, parents. So I said, okay, this is the way it is, okay? Through education, I understood, okay, maybe I can get out of this. Maybe I can actually market or sell and understand that there's this whole world outside of my universe and my thinking. But the problem is, if we are consuming other people's content, we're not actually doing. Okay, so this whole video is about why and the science behind why we need to actually produce and not consume. Okay, the year of yes is producing more content, producing things that elicit an emotion. The illicit emotion is your opinion on something. And I'm not talking about political. Like today, I said, today's the day of phone calls, and it's to make calls that you don't want to make, but you have to make it. Something along those lines. That elicited emotion because people are like, actually there are calls I don't want to make, but I have to make. So any post that you put out, put your opinion to it, okay? Thank God it's Monday. Maybe there are atheists out there, and I said God with a capital G. That elicits emotion, okay? And I'm not saying this is the thing, and this is gonna be an entire separate video, and I'm gonna leave you guys at this, is that when we actually go out and it's not working. So say we put out 10 posts, 15, 20, 30 Instagram posts, and we see that our volume is actually going down. It's not to actually change who you are, it's to change how you're actually distributing your content. Okay, that's an entire different movie or video, and essentially that's what I came to the conclusion today, because there are things that I put even on this YouTube. Even this YouTube, I understand that there were 7, now there's 5. I put out some videos that get 150 views and some of them that get 89 views. So I say, okay, it's not changing who you are. You are the same. You are authentic. It's producing the medium that's different. Maybe the message is a little bit different. Maybe you have to improve the actual photo or improve the actual message in the Instagram. Okay. So the year of yes this year is to actually produce, is to create content and not consume it. Don't consume. Yes, maybe a little bit, but understand once you catch yourself and you've done at least 3 swipes on Instagram or Facebook, be like, whoa, and you just catch yourself and be like, I gotta get out. All right? So have an awesome day. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. I'm going to sign off for now. If you guys have any questions, obviously leave it below. But this is a very important, very, very important concept because your attention is going to be grabbed in more and more different places. In other words, not only on your phone, but also in person, because video is going to be all over buildings. It's going to be all over sneakers. There's going to be ads on your refrigerator. It's going to be everywhere. And I'm not saying like, oh my God, be afraid of the future. I'm saying if you don't control it now, there's no way you're going to be controlling it in the future. So have an awesome day. Subscribe to the video. Leave your comments below. Talk to you guys soon.